Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dhirayat Nastapareshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading from the Srimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, Conversation between Manu and Kardama, Text 28. Samahitam te hirdayam yatreman parivatsaran sa tvam brahman nirpa vadhu kamam ashu bhajishyati samitam te hirdayam yatre man parivatsaran Sattvam Brahman Nirpavadhu Kaman Ashu Bhajishyati Samahitam Te Hirdayam Yatre Man Parivatsaran Sattvam Brahman Nirpavadhu Kamam Ashu Bhajishyati Samahitam Te Hirdayam Yatre Man Parivatsaran Sattvam Brahman Nirpavadhu Kamam Ashu Bhajishyati. Did the troop down? Yeah, down. Mataji's. Samahitam has been fixed. Te, your. Hirdayam, heart. Yatra, on whom. Iman, for all these. Parivatsaran, years. Sa, she, Tam, you, Brahman, O Brahmana, Nirpavadu, the princess, Kamam, as you desire, Ashu, very soon, Pajishyati, will serve. That princess, O holy sage, will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart for all these long years. She will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The Lord awards all benedictions according to the heart's desire of a devotee. So the Lord informed Kardama Muni, the girl who is coming to be married with you is a princess, the daughter of Emperor Swayambhuva, and so just suitable for your purpose. Only by God's grace can one get a nice wife just as he desires. Similarly, it is only by God's grace that a girl gets a husband suitable to her heart. Thus it is said that if we pray to the Supreme Lord in every transaction of our material existence, everything will be done very nicely and just suitable to our heart's desire. In other words, in all circumstances, we must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and depend completely on His decision. Man proposes, God disposes. The fulfillment of desires, therefore, should be entrusted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the nicest solution. Kardama Muni desired only a wife, but because he was a devotee of the Lord selected a wife for him who was the emperor's daughter, a princess. Thus, Kardama Muni got a wife beyond his expectation. If we depend on the choice of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will receive benedictions in greater opulence than we desire. It is also significantly noted here that Kardama Muni was a Brahmana, whereas Emperor Swayambhuva Manu was a Kshatriya. Therefore, intercaste marriage was current even in those days. The system was that a Brahmana could marry the daughter of a Kshatriya, but a Kshatriya could not marry the daughter of a Brahmana. We have evidences from the history of the Vedic age that Sukaracharya offered his daughter to Marj Yayati, but the king had to refuse to marry the daughter of a Brahmana. Only with the special permission of the Brahmana could they marry. Intercaste marriage, therefore, was not prohibited in the olden days, many millions of years ago, but there was a regular system of social behavior. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshulmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam. Make it louder. Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupagadamayam Didati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Dam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Pangur Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarvasva Padambo Jo Radha Madana Mohano Dibyad Bindaranya Kalpajumada Shrimad Ratnagara Singha Sanasto Shrimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Pristalabi Savya Manu Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambi Bamsi Bhattatatastita Karshan Venus Vanar Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestuna Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasnubhye Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Samitam te hridayam yatre man paravitsaran sattvam brahmanyapa vadu kaman ashu bhajishyati. That princess, O holy sage, will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart all these long years. She will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content. So, keeping in mind, this is a very exalted and elevated situation because this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly speaking to Kardama Muni. Krishna does not speak, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not speak to someone who is not qualified. Also, this is the beginning of the Satya Yuga, when population of the universe was desirable and required. Krishna Kripa yesterday was quoting the verse from the Bhagavad Gita that where Krishna is saying he knows past, present, and future. But me, no one knows. So what Prabhupada is mentioning here is very appropriate. If we depend upon the choice of the Supreme Lord, then, what does it say? If we pray to the Supreme Lord in every transaction of our material existence, everything will be done very nicely and just suitable to our heart's desire. In other words, in all circumstances, we must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and depend completely on His decision. The fulfillment of desires should be entrusted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the nicest solution. And it's mentioned that if we accept the choice of the Supreme Lord, if we depend on the choice of the Supreme Lord, we will receive benedictions in greater opulence than we desire. Prabhupada begins the purport. The Lord awards all benedictions according to the heart's desire of a devotee. So what is being described here on one level is Kardama Muni is looking for a suitable wife, for a suitable girl for him to unite with, to have children. Actually, one child only came. That's another important point, that we see that the Supreme Lord is personally coming and predicting, and certainly he must have inspired Svayambhuva Manu to, of all the personalities he could give his most qualified and beautiful daughter to, why would he choose Kardama Muni, who was a mendicant, renounced person without any opulence or means physically. Of course, we see in due course of time Kardama Muni, so powerful, he created an aerial mansion equipped with all luxuries and opulences, and all these beautiful female maidservants appeared on the behest of Kardama Muni to serve Devahuti. Kapila Dev became the so-called issue or offspring of this union. And Kapila Dev, he enunciated very, very powerful Sankhya philosophy, devotional Sankhya philosophy, which will make up the conclusion of this canto. Some 6 very important chapters, beginning with the epic chapter 5, the glories of devotional service. Interesting to note that all of the different personalities and incarnations described in the Srimad Bhāgavatam even though seemingly so many bygone years and ages ago, they have become part of Srila Prabhupada's International Society for Krishna Consciousness and Lord Chaitanya's movement in this Kali Yuga to save humanity in its darkest hour. How? By Srila Prabhupada writing, translating their stories from Srimad Bhāgavatam and giving elaborate commentary and purport, which in his own words said, I could do very quickly, but I'm thinking of every word very carefully. My books will be the law books for the next 10,000 years in this Kali Yuga. So, Krishna, he is knowing everything, past, present, and future, but at a depth that we can't understand. So, different types of desire or levels of desire. So, heart's desire to get a nice wife or a nice husband. But Narottam Das Thakur, he teaches us that by accepting the order of the bona fide Acharya, one who is representing the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what happens? Ye prashade pure sarva asha. That is the perfection of all desire, or the highest desire. Desire on the highest level, or, one man's food is another man's poison. No, or more appropriately, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So proportionate. So it's interesting, Srila Prabhupada is describing here getting a nice wife as one desires. We think, well, everything is going to be very, very nice, or the girl is going to get a husband just suitable to her heart's desire. In the case of Srila Prabhupada, he had an arranged marriage, and he didn't like his wife. And he went to his father, said, I want to get a second wife. And what did Srila Prabhupada's beloved father, Gaur Mohan Dey, say? My dear boy, that you don't like, I advise you not to take a second wife. That you don't like your present wife will be very good for your future advancement in spiritual life. And the way that's written about in the Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita, that Srila Prabhupada, as a very young man at the time, was very much astounded by his father's wisdom and was like contemplating what that could mean, my future spiritual life. And he obeyed his father. Interesting to note that there's much discussion these days in light of excesses in how children in our movement, in the Gurukul system, were given undue punishment And sometimes the word spare the rod and spoil the child is there. But in Srila Prabhupada's case, his father gave him whatever he wanted. It was late, it was time to take rest, and for a little evening snack, his mother had prepared muri, puffed rice, and Srila Prabhupada wanted puris. And his mother was saying, no, it's too late. You will take, Shrutakirti tells this story that Prabhupada had told to him. And it turned into an argument. And when Srila Prabhupada's father came, he told Rajani, Prabhupada's mother, his wife, no, you must make him puris. Prabhupada got a toy gun and insisted that he had to have two. And the reason was, I want to have one for each hand. And his father insisted to his mother, you must get two. But all of this was done with very, very great love. So we can see in his, now as an adult, about such a matter that most people couldn't care less what their father or mother have to say, who's my boyfriend, who's my girlfriend, who I'm going to live with, who I'm going to do what with. Srila Prabhupada not only obeyed his father's instruction, but not even begrudgingly, but with great appreciation. So if we raise our children with great love and appreciation, it will be, so to speak, the payback later in their adult life that they'll always remember and revere us as their parents. So it's very difficult for most people to overcome the natural desires to be united with a man or a woman and have a family and have children. In Krishna consciousness, Krishna even says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am sex life according to religious principles. And according to religious principles, the practical and very purposeful result of such is it gives a chance for a very elevated living entity to take birth of a proper, devoted mother and father to either continue to advance their Krishna consciousness from where they left off previously, or even greater than that, to come into this world as part of Lord Chaitanya's movement in a very empowered way. Certainly that is the case with our acharyas, our Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the great Mahabhagavat Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who seemingly is situated in Grihastha life, having so many children, but his position is beyond doubt. That's another discussion. Ultimately, as Lord Chaitanya encouraging Ramananda Roy to speak further and further, and Lord Ramananda Roy's reluctance that I am instructing the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the sannyasi, and who am I? Kiba vibrat, kiba, what is the verse? Kiba viprat, kiba keni noi, tattvavet se guru. It doesn't matter one's social position in the caste divisions and orders of life. If one knows the science of Krishna, then one is and can be guru. That yes. So it is not within my power. Your teachings have very much depreciated. He's having this conversation, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, with Lord Chaitanya. And it is not within my power alone to renovate them. You must send me someone from your personal staff. In 1911, there was a very important meeting, a very important controversy that needed to be quelled and victoriously defeated by Vaishnav Siddhanta, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was just 4 years before departing this world, and he wasn't physically fit to go, and he sent Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was, how old was he at the time? He was 37 years old, 1911. And he triumphed, and everyone realized, more so than even before his actual position. So that's to be aspired for, to have that type of devotional service as husband and wife to produce Krishna-conscious children. But on a more common or practical level, to give everyone shelter from the constant battering of the Kali Yuga material desires and temptation and allurement, to have a proper shelter so one can control one's desires and emotions and feelings in a regulated and suitable manner, that a result will come out that the devotee, man devotee, female devotee, can keep their Krishna consciousness and progress naturally without having to be victimized by the material energy. So the Lord is coming and predicting to Kardama Muni what will happen, but we'll see as this chapter progresses. He describes what will happen in Kardama's later life. He will become a very elevated, exalted, and exemplary sannyasi. With your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command, resigning to me the fruits of all your acts, you will finally attain to me. Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization. Giving assurance of safety to all, you will perceive your own self as well as the universe is in me and myself and you. I was hearing the video glorification of Kadamba Kanana Maharaj by His Grace Borijan Prabhu. You can find this on the ISKCON Vrindavan memorial service, which was done in the temple room, spoken by senior Prabhupada disciples. They had video remembrances from, a letter was read by Gopal Krishna Maharaj, a video by His Holiness Radhanath Swami, Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, but in this case, Borijan, he was describing how Jayadvaita Maharaj had ordered him as a householder to take sannyas, and they were discussing the verse spoken by Krishna into Uddhava, in the Uddhava Gita in the 11th canto, the sannyas verse of the Avanti Brahmana. And the point that Borijan Prabhu was making was that Lord Chaitanya liked this verse because it accepted that sannyas meant not external formalities, but service to Mukunda, service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the present time means service to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya's movement is meant to benedict the world with mercy. It is indicated here that Kardama was directed by the Lord to be very compassionate and liberal in his household life, and to give assurance to the people in his renounced life. A sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life, is meant to give enlightenment to the people. The householder under the spell of Maya becomes absorbed in family affairs and forgets his relationship with Krishna. If he dies in forgetfulness like cats and dogs, then his life is spoiled. It is the duty of a sannyasi, therefore, to go and awaken the forgetful souls with enlightenment of their eternal relationship with the Lord and to engage them in devotional service. The devotee should show mercy to the fallen souls and give them the assurance of fearlessness. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he is convinced that he is protected by the Lord. Fear itself is afraid of the Lord. Therefore, what has he to do with fearfulness? Kadamba Maharaj is passing away from Vrindavan, as he demonstrated and exhibited, is a very great gift, not just to his disciples, but to everyone, to all the devotees of ISKCON, to all devotees of Lord Chaitanya, to all those who consider themselves a believer in God, in whatever religion, and to every living entity on this planet, because he passed away in complete fearlessness. He had no fear. So this is a very great gift. And Prabhupada mentions that. Toward fearlessness to the common man is the greatest act of charity. So the devotees' sacrifice of their life, we were hearing, to blaspheme the devotees of the Lord who have sacrificed their lives for the propagation of the holy name of the Lord. Family members, oh, you're very selfish, you have to serve the family, and, you didn't get married and have children. How is the family name going to go on? You're just some self-absorbed nut. Quite to the contrary. The six Goswamis, they kicked off all association with aristocracy as insignificant. In order to what? Deliver the poor, fallen, conditioned souls. They accepted loincloths, adopting the role of mendicants. But what type of consciousness were they in? Were they just wretched, homeless urchins like we see here or in any big hellish city? No. They were always absorbed in the mood of the topmost elevated personalities, the entire cosmic manifestation, the highest devotees in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan. They were absorbed in the mood of the Lord's conjugal lovers, the gopis, and they merged and bathed repeatedly in the nectarian waves of that ocean. And when you're bathing in the ocean, you splash in those waves, or you have a pool party, splashing. So we're being splashed with the waves from that nectarian ocean. I shall manifest my own plenary portion through your wife, Devahuti, along with your 9 daughters. And I shall instruct her in the system of philosophy that deals with the ultimate principles of categories. Samitam te hirdayam, yate man paravitsaran, sattvam brahma nirpavadu, kaman ashu bhajishyati. That princess, O holy sage, will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart for all these long years. She will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content. Any questions or comments?
Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, do you have a reference for the Srila Prabhupada quote that you made that I could translate Bhagavatam very quickly, but I'm thinking about every word very carefully?
It's a statement that he made.
Yeah, do you know when, where?
I think it was in relation to him being taxed for so much management, and I'll have to think about it. Maybe in the Prabhupada Lilamrita, it sounds likely that will be found there. Back in the 80s, one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, Jagadish Prabhu, he had the realization that Narada Muni's instructions to Srila Vyasadeva. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of the name, fame, form, and descriptions of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation meant to bring about a revolution in the lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such literature is heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest that this was a harbinger or a prediction of Srila Prabhupada's appearance to present the Srimad Bhāgavatam in such a magnificent way and stress the distribution of the Srimad Bhāgavatam as was given his instruction by his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, as causing the desired revolution to overturn the infamous insidiousness of this Kali Yuga. This is somewhat in relationship to this. This is very nice. I found this recently. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur from an article entitled Kali in his Gaudiya magazine. Kali is such an unrighteous friend and harmful enemy of the conditioned soul that during his reign, he does not allow anyone to remain fixed in the pure religious system of Sankirtan. This gives me comfort. Why are people not able to stay, you know? Or why are they attracted to do so many other things? Sankirtan has been glorified as the only means of deliverance in the age of Kali. Oh, it's the only way to be delivered for me? Okay. So this is what I have to fight against the most, people becoming fixed in Sankirtan. Any other questions? Mother Mary Rose.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the nice class. I guess I'm wondering, in this verse.
I can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is that better? Okay. It seems in this verse we're hearing that we really need to rely on Krishna's plan.
I can't clearly underhear.
Sorry, I have a cold, so I probably lower anyways. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. It seems in this verse that we're hearing a lot that, we really need to rely on Krishna's plan for those.
Maybe speak slower.
Okay. I'll come closer too. So it seems in this verse that we're hearing that those kind of looking to enter Grihastha ashram, really need to rely on Krishna's plan. On the contrary, yesterday, the verse, it seemed like it was speaking more that it was talking a lot about like arranged marriage, but we also heard that this is not necessarily maybe the most appropriate way in this day and age or in this Western culture to go about finding a partner. So I guess I'm wondering, in reference to this verse particularly, how relying on Krishna and his plan, we obviously don't know that, how we might see that manifest in like a practical way.
Well, relying on Krishna means relying on his devotees. I don't think I'm really the one so qualified to comment on these things. I don't know so much about it. But it seems that such arrangements and organizations are lacking. So the spiritual master, the initiating spiritual master seems to be expected to make arrangements as best they can. I don't know what to say.
Speaking from a practical point, if the devotees are encouraged, inspired to progress, keep on growing, not going, growing, then doesn't matter whatever happen, it's all turned out best under senior devotees' advice. Because I have seen, I won't say the name, but I have seen one devotee recently got little trouble and he was talking to me. And I said, increase your chanting, Prabhu. You are in trouble, now the intensity is there. You don't have to cry for intensity, it's already there. You are feeling the pain. So if you purely chant, then you will advance. Of course, some or other he wanted to remarry, so it was not exactly. So if they really progress, want to progress, then everything turn out the best. But if they want to gratify the senses, then it's challenging. Because as I was mentioning yesterday, our charts, the astrological charts, what we are destined, predestined you can say. Am I the maker of my destiny or life is predestined? Both. Because of this Krishna consciousness involvement. So as long we can help each other to progress, then it's best. Otherwise, it's never best. Never good. From a practical point. Prabhupada took it very positively, isn't it? Tea or me.
Took what What did he take positively?
He asked her, tea or me?
Oh, to his wife, I see.
Well, she may be thinking like joking, or he will be back, but Prabhupada took it seriously. And he took it. He left. So if everybody becomes serious, some or other we can encourage the devotees to become serious always. It's best, whatever happened. If family life worked out, it's best. Didn't work out, it will be still best. As long as we become serious and keep on growing.
Was it said in one place that if one can raise a family in Kali Yuga, one will be seen as a great hero? It's just everything is becoming so difficult. And we can see actively how the demons, they're trying to destroy proper family life with their so-called policies and crazy ideas. The crying need of the hour is for the devotees to propagate the Sankirtan movement, to propagate Srila Prabhupada's movement with all the tools and facilities and instructions that he's given. In Kali Yuga, the demons are not going to wait for us to get it together. They're hell-bent, rampant, full steam ahead. So
I was thinking also, Tokaram is a great example. The famous Tokaram.
Tukaram.
Yeah, Tokaram. That when they interviewed him, that your wife is not interested in spiritual progress. She's always kind of like yelling to you to make more money, but you are not ever threatened her or abused her, but always tolerated and go on. And then he gave a very beautiful answer. He said, Krishna is so kind. He sent somebody who made me realize not to ask for wife ever eternally. So he took it positively, even though it may appear like miserable.
Just three small comments. Along the lines of what Pran Govinda said, when I was engaged to this lady, one of my Shiksha gurus, Mahavishnu Goswami from Gujarat, he was telling a story about three married devotees. It was to make a point. One had a very nice wife who was very cooperative and helped him with his duties, and he felt very pleased with, he considered that was Krishna's mercy, and that the Lord was looking after him. And then another, his wife died prematurely, and the devotee was very happy because then he could focus on his spiritual advancement. And the other, the wife was such a challenge to be with. On his way home from work, he would stop at the temple and take solace there before going home to his wife. So he felt very good that his wife was such a challenge, that because he was taking shelter of the Lord, he was coming out ahead. So because they're devotees, even though they had a different situation, they all saw the hand of the Lord in it. And then regarding selecting someone to marry, like when this girl wanted to marry me in Philadelphia in the 80s, that like one day 3 different devotees came up to me saying they thought it was a bad idea. So when the devotees all say the same thing, we can take that as that Krishna's trying to tell, when it's super clear like that. And the devotee I stayed with recently in Gainesville, his wife broke up with him, but he felt that he wasn't through with male-female relationships. So there's some devotee matchmaking sites, and he went to one of them and found some girl, and they apparently are very happy together. So that's another strategy.
Now I have the other side story. Tukaram is a one angle. Another angle is Jadavacharya. Prabhupada put in the purport of Bhagavatam. Jadavacharya, where Ramanujacharya came in that village and hometown, and he was a poor guy. I'm sure you all read. But it's such a wonderful example that his wife had so much love for Guru and Krishna that she noticed that there was a lusty man, but she tricked him in a saying that because Ramanujacharya came, he didn't come alone, he came with 50 disciples. Now, knowing that this poor couple won't be able to, to provide 50 devotees prasadam and place is like a big endeavor. But some or other, I guess it was a test, according to the Prabhupada story. So Prabhupada didn't give full details, but he gave the whole story. Radhanath Maharaj gives more details on it. That this Mataji, his wife, she went to that man. He said, your desire will be fulfilled provided you give me all the facility I need. And she gave a list of all the shopping, what she needs to serve the Guru. And then she told Guru Maharaj that please take rest. And they didn't have a place. They had a tree, big tree near the house, and they all rested. And in the meantime, Jadavacharya went to beg. That's how he maintained his life. But some or other, when he went to beg, he didn't realize that his Guru Maharaj will come there with 50 disciples. But when he went to beg, he hardly got enough for couple, themselves. And then he saw his Guru Maharaj there with 50 disciples. It was like it's impossible task. And they won actually big feast, lunch and facility. But she arranged the whole thing through that man. And she served and satisfied Guru. I'm not giving the whole details, but it was ultimately, the Guru was so pleased that he actually asked, do you want, how did you arrange? I know you don't have anything. And she said the whole straightforward to her Guru. And then the Guru says, bring this man, I'll bless him. Oh, he's not interested in spiritual life, but somehow or other, by having darshan of Guru, this lusty man actually started taking Krishna consciousness. And then he turned back to this lady, Jadavacharya's wife, and pleaded guilty and says, I'm so sorry, I had this lustful, please forgive me, and you are my mother. So the whole transformation was so beautiful because of this one Mataji became the best devotee to her Guru and Krishna. So we see it can be both ways, not just. So as long as they are serious, whoever it is, man or woman, to serve Krishna and Guru, then it's perfect.
Yes, we're all ultimately meant to achieve fearlessness, freedom from material desires, identifying ourselves with the body and mind, and that can only be done by regaining the knowledge of our eternal relationship with Krishna. So what Srila Prabhupada has given us is such a topmost gift. We should very much hold on to it and cherish it and not let anything else interfere with our attainment of this ultimate goal of life. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol.